Hi there, Matthew from Disaster Area, doing a quick demonstration today of the MIDI capabilities of the DPC-8EZ pedalboard controller. The DPC-8 is shown here on the left. It's an 8-channel bypass looper with MIDI capabilities. So it's got a MIDI input and output on the back panel, and you can connect this to anything that sends MIDI program changes. We're using it today with a DMC-7D. This is our largest MIDI-only controller. It's got 7 buttons and a bright blue LED display. So what can you do with the DPC and a MIDI controller? Let's delve into that. The DMC-7D has some mappable MIDI channels. What this means is you can enter a scrolling mode and you can use the buttons on the controller to change the presets on several different devices. So if you look up at the timeline, we can actually change presets on the timeline here. Every time we press this button, it changes presets on the timeline, up and down. We can take it all the way down to bypass, engage, and the same thing on the H9. So on the H9, we can change presets, go up and down, and we can bypass or activate it. So we can control anything on those two devices. If we had a third device like a Strymon Big Sky or a Mobius or a Line 6 M5, anything like that, we can control that as well. There's a third channel here, but we don't have a third MIDI device connected. The DPC-8EZ and some of our other controllers like the Smart Loop have a special MIDI channel that they use just to talk to other disaster area gear. So when you need to connect one of these, you don't have to configure anything. You don't have to set anything up. In fact, all you have to do is power it on in the auto config mode, and that's detailed in the manual, but I'll show you guys now. So to auto configure your DPC, all you need to do is unplug your DPC, and power it on holding the first foot switch. So if we plug it in, and we hold the first foot switch, you can see the green light blinks. Now you power on your other controller and you can see the blue light blinked there. So as soon as the DMC7 comes on, the DPC grabs the auto config message and they're now set up to work with each other. So how do you make them work together? Well, it's really simple. Anytime you change presets on the DMC, the DPC will follow along. So when we press the first button, we load the first preset, second preset, third, fourth, fifth, etc. So anytime you turn on a preset, the DPC just follows along, and that's all there is to it. Setting up a preset to work with your MIDI devices and everything together is a little more complicated, but it's still very simple. To set up a preset, all you need to do is go to the scrolling mode on your controller. If you've got a controller that doesn't have a scrolling mode, we'll show you what to do in just a second. So select the presets that you'd like on your devices. Let's say we want an ice delay on the timeline. Yeah, that's cool. And then let's say we want maybe something or maybe something a little different here. Alright, so we've decided on the MIDI sounds that we want. That's great. And we'll exit scrolling mode. If you're using a controller that doesn't have a scrolling mode, this is where you would start. We're going to save this in our 2A preset. So to set up the DPC, all you have to do is pick the loops that you want. So you enter the manual mode, and we're going to turn on our Timmy, and we're going to turn on our chorus pedal, so that we've now got this sound. And once we have the sound we want, we tell the DPC to prepare to store. So we go into store mode, and then we save the preset on our master controller. If you're using a controller that doesn't have a scrolling mode or doesn't have a save feature, all you need to do is enter store mode on the DPC and send a program change from the controller. That's it. So set up the loops that you want, enter store mode, and just send a program change. The controller will grab that program change, and every time you send the program change again, it will go back to that. So we can go to 2B here. And if we go to 2A, we get the sound we saved. So really, really straightforward. You might ask, well, what if I don't have a master MIDI controller? What if I've only got a DPC-8? The DPC-8EZ has a fairly limited MIDI implementation. It doesn't have a lot of the complex MIDI features of the DPC-5, and that's by design. We wanted to design a controller that was really easy to use for someone who only or mostly does audio and doesn't do quite as much MIDI. It's still got MIDI, obviously, for the MIDI in and the MIDI through, but the MIDI out is a little more limited. The way to make it work for MIDI out, there's a setup command that lets you tell the controller to work on MIDI out. And it's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is power on the controller holding the fourth button, and that's this one. So if you power on the controller holding the fourth button, it'll enable or disable the controller's ability to send MIDI on its own. So we'll power the controller off, and then we'll power it on holding button 4. You can see that the LED blinks, and now when we select a preset, you can see on the timeline that we're actually changing presets. So engaging a preset on the DPC will actually send a command on out the MIDI jacks, and you can actually control your devices with it. Pretty much it just sends out MIDI program change commands so that selecting a preset selects a preset. It's really straightforward. All you need to do is save the presets on your device in the order that you'd like to recall them, so that if you go, for example, to red 1, then we load 00A or 00B, for example, and it will scroll presets on your timeline without engaging it. So if you prefer to start up a song that doesn't have the timeline engaged, it changes presets without actually engaging one, and then you can go to the one that you actually want. It'll change presets on as many devices are connected. So if you've got 4 devices, you just have to line up all the presets in that order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the DPC-8EZ will recall them in order. So it's really pretty straightforward. It acts like a MIDI device, so it can receive commands from a master MIDI controller, or it works as a controller itself, and it can send a few commands to other devices. If you've got any questions or comments, please post them below. Always happy to field questions from our viewers. Check out the disaster area website, disasterareadesigns.com. We've got the DPC-8 available now. Thanks for watching.